interested in simple steps to heal the root cause of your health issues, whether it's anxiety, depression, insomnia, weight gain, hormonal issues, digestive issues, or any difficult to treat condition, welcome to Heal Your Body, Cure Your Mind, where you'll get most of the answers for your health concerns and benefit from the latest techniques in naturopathic medicine, functional medicine, and psychotherapy to heal your mind and body together. As a naturopathic doctor, psychotherapist, and best-selling author, I've also created a free ebook and online course for you at drameet.com. That's drameet.com, where you'll get tons of tips to heal your mind, your body, your emotions, your gut, your liver, inflammation, and other things that go wrong in your body. Without further ado, with lots of love to your beautiful heart, here's your podcast for this week.
Today, we have Dr. Ameet Aggarwal. He is a naturopathic doctor and psychotherapist, which is just amazing in that sense. And he was voted one of the top 43 practitioners to follow based on his combined approach using naturopathic medicine and emotional healing. Which, like I said, that's just amazing to be able to combine it. And he also has a happiness and health online program, which helps people with emotional issues, weight loss, hormone balance, leaky gut, and adrenal fatigue. So, I mean, you do it all, doctor. And you have a best-selling
one, yeah.
Yeah. And you have a best-selling, so I'm not done. And you have a best-selling book called Heal Your Body, Cure Your Mind, which is one of the most comprehensive approaches to treat anxiety, stress, and depression. And an even better part is he started mobile clinics for poor communities in Kenya. And when you buy his online course and book, you support that community work. So, wow, doctor, you have it all. You're doing it all. I can't wait to just dig in because you have so much to teach us. So thank you for being here.
A pleasure. Hopefully I can do my best today. So thank you, Amy.
Yes. So first, I just want to dive into, your book. Your book is called Heal Your Body, Cure Your Mind. And so I know you can't sit there and tell us everything that's in your book in this 40-minute interview, but tell us a little bit, just how does that work? How does healing your body cure your mind?
Okay. So as a naturopath, I always believe in fixing the body, stabilizing the body's chemistry, because hormonal imbalance, inflammation, food sensitivities, cortisol imbalances, all of those affect the mind and the mood, and alter somebody's motivation, self-esteem, sense of self-worth. So a lot of the things in the mind actually come from body imbalances. And at the same time, I call it cure your mind as well, because if you have trauma or you grew up in a very stressful environment or your parents were dysfunctional or traumatic towards you, then your mind develops ways of thinking that affect you even today. So you might have low self-esteem, you might be fearful, lack confidence, and all of these things can be healed. And I teach you how to do this in the book and the online course, is how to heal trauma, change belief systems, as well as heal your physiology, right? So changing the foods that you eat, healing the gut, healing the adrenal system, detoxifying your liver. And I'll go into more details on the exact biochemistry of that. And both need to happen together, because if you ignore one, like if you only focus on counseling and you don't change your body's physiology or you don't get the right nutrients, you might remain depressed or unmotivated or lethargic, right? And I would say if you only do natural medicines and take supplements, but you don't transform your thinking, then you're going to remain stressed or, just belittling yourself or just unhealed, really, despite all the supplements you're taking, because your mind is still overworking based on a previous trauma. So we want to make sure that all the healing takes place together. There's no separation between mind and body. And that's what I teach, and that's what I love teaching. Because people get better much faster and for longer, right?
Yeah, when you heal the mind and the body and not separate, like we've been following for many, many years.
Yeah, and that's an example of a belief system that is actually detrimental to some people's lives, is the separation between mind and body, right? So that's one example. And similarly, we have beliefs from our parents like you shouldn't love money, or you shouldn't love yourself too much, or you should give up your power to certain types of people. And we grow up with these beliefs and we end up living a very dissatisfied life.
Yeah. And then, so what you're saying is the beliefs can affect your mind, but it can also affect your body as well.
Yeah. So what happens is the beliefs, of course, change your perception of yourself and of other people. But the way beliefs and trauma affect your body is, so let's say you experience a traumatic experience. Your parents separate, or your dad abandons the family, or your mom goes away, or your boyfriend breaks up with you, whatever it is, your body goes into a fight or flight response, right? And your body starts making adrenaline. And that's made by your adrenal glands. Now, your adrenal glands are already tired from chronic daily stress. Yeah, financial issues, deadlines, cell phones, too much lights at night, etc. So now you have this added trauma and stress that triggers your adrenal glands into a hyper response. That will burn out your adrenal glands. Also, when the trauma is unresolved, the trauma stays in your limbic brain, in a primitive part of your brain, and in parts of your cells as well in your body. And that continues to drive all your organs, including your adrenal glands, in a stressful way. So they're never really chilled out and rebuilding themselves. They're always using up nutrients and just burning out. And over time, they get so fatigued that the chemicals they produce, like adrenaline and cortisol and all that, become imbalanced in your body. And when that happens, you get hormonal imbalances. So you can actually get just hormonal issues like a lot of PMS symptoms. You get a cortisol imbalance, which suppresses melatonin, serotonin, dopamine, and GABA. So you're more prone to anxiety and depression, right? Where you have low sex drive as well, because your neurotransmitters are down. You might have suicidal thoughts. You might have low self-esteem. A lot of things go off. And also with more cortisol imbalance and more stress in your body, your leaky gut, and I'll talk about leaky gut soon, leaky gut gets worse. So symptoms of asthma, eczema, arthritis, a lot of chronic health conditions get worse because you're stressed, number one, and number two, because you have unresolved stress in your body that makes your body more fragile.
Okay, so tell us, like, what is leaky gut? I've heard that term, but I'd love to know from a doctor, from a naturopath, what is leaky gut?
Okay, so we have a stomach, we have intestines, right? And your intestines are kept healthy by good bacteria and good food. And over time, with antibiotic use, poor diet, even the birth control pill, etc., the good bacteria get killed off, the lining gets damaged, you get holes in the intestine. And with that, toxins go into the bloodstream. Yeah, and that causes inflammation everywhere in your body. And that's the leading cause of asthma, eczema, arthritis. And the inflammation also tires you out, interferes with thyroid function and adrenal function. So that leads to weight gain as well. And when you have a lot of inflammation, your adrenal glands have to make a lot of cortisol to manage the inflammation. So then you get the cortisol imbalance and adrenal fatigue. Yeah. So your adrenal glands are tired because of traumatic memories, chronic day stress, as well as inflammation. So a lot of things are wiping your system out. And that's why you have to heal leaky gut. And that's by removing inflammatory foods, which I talk about in my online course in the book. Also healing the gut with certain supplements, amino acids, vitamin D, probiotics, etc. And detoxifying your liver, that's super important. Yeah, so because when you have an inflammation, you have a lot of toxins in your body, and these toxins go to the liver. The liver becomes stagnant, and it's meant to produce bile, right, which helps your digestion. But with a stagnant liver, your bile flow is not so good. So you get more gas, bloating, indigestion, worsening of leaky gut, more constipation. And so a lot of problems of constipation are usually a liver stagnation, and people don't realize that. And your liver controls your hormones. And so with liver stagnation, you might have more progesterone deficiency or testosterone imbalances, and that can lead to anxiety and depression as well. So it's very important not to just take a pill or an antidepressant without understanding the root cause. And my book, my online course, helps you walk you through treating the root cause. The online course, of course, has a lot more detail, has a lot of homeopathic remedies, exact protocols. But my book also introduces people to the basic concept and puts it in a very systemic way, how to heal the gut, the liver, the adrenal system, and also healing emotional trauma.
So how would someone know that they have leaky gut? How would someone know that this could be coming from their beliefs or suppressed emotions? How do you guide people?
Yeah. I do a timeline. I look at what's happening in the person's life, number one, and when their symptoms started. Was it post-trauma? Was it a post-event? And most people have some issue in their life, a walking life, right? It might not be a big trauma. It might be an imbalance in the family system. Maybe their mom went on a long holiday or was traumatized by the death of her brother or something like that. But it didn't show up as an obvious trauma, yeah, to the child, to the person, to the patient. And so we explore these things, and energetically, I can feel energetically where the imbalance is coming from, number one. Number two, I also look at their physical symptoms. So is there any gas, bloating, eczema, weight gain, water retention? A lot of weight gain is due to water retention. It's not actually just fat. Yeah. Is there constipation? Is there digestive health issues? Are there PMS symptoms like breast tenderness, cramping, clotting during menses? Is there insomnia? So now you can see that if I see gas, bloating, PMS symptoms, I know that's all liver stuff, right? Mm-hmm. Versus if somebody didn't know that, they would be taking maybe the birth control pill or a painkiller, as well as, I don't know, Accutane for acne, and then an antidepressant as well. They just flood themselves with medicine to suppress symptoms, where we treat the root cause to make sure that you don't get sick. And then when you don't get sick, of course, and you treat the root cause, you're more energized, you believe in yourself more, you have better self-esteem. So you just have a better life. Like, you can really transform your life by healing your belief systems, healing trauma, and fixing your body.
Wow. Okay. So say someone came to you and you helped them with leaky gut, you helped them with inflammation, you helped them with all of that. But now the other part is their belief system, their mindset. So how do you guide people with that?
Okay. So I'm a psychotherapist, and we're trained to work with people's belief systems as well as solve or heal their trauma. And that's about just witnessing the person in their vulnerability and helping them gain strength while they're being vulnerable again. Mm-hmm. Then they start to believe in themselves again, and they feel nourished by the therapist or the environment that they're in while they're being vulnerable. So they're not being re-traumatized while they're in the therapy room. Yeah. So let's say you came in with depression. Somebody comes in with depression. Yeah. I'll ask them, when did it start? Okay. I don't know, 2009, for example. What happened then? Well, dad went traveling and mom was really depressed. Maybe there was an affair or something. Wait, what beliefs did you have about that? Or what beliefs did you have about yourself? Oh, I'm not good enough. I've done something different. Or I couldn't help my mom enough. I felt responsible for my mom. And so now they've been sucked into the depression of their mom or the pain of their mom, right? And there's an entanglement. Mm-hmm. And that sense of over-responsibility actually blocks them from their own sense of purpose or life or individuality. I don't necessarily say that. It's just an awareness. And when we can heal those belief systems and saying, okay, mom, this is painful for you, and I still love and respect you, and I cannot carry your guilt, your pain, your self-esteem issues. I love you still, I'm your child. The person gets a sense of self back. Mm. Yeah. And so what I'm describing right now is a form of psychotherapy I use called family constellations. I also use gestalt psychotherapy. I use EMDR, which is trauma release. I use many different tools to help people. If somebody was violated, for example, abandoned, and there's a shock and trauma about that, I can ask them, okay, stay with the memory. What's the worst part of the memory? Yeah, the worst scene. And I'll ask them, they'll connect with that, the one that has the most charge, the most painful scene. And ask them, what belief do you have in that scene about yourself? It could be, I'm not good enough, I'm in danger, I'm going to lose my life, whatever it is. And I ask them to stay with that thought and the scene, and then notice what feelings are coming up. It could be fear, it could be loneliness, it could be whatever things, right? And then I ask them, where is that feeling happening in your body? So this is a very precise technique to use in EMDR. So they're connected to the visual image, the negative belief about themselves, the feeling or the emotion, as well as the physical sensation in their body. When they're connected to all of those four, then I do a certain tapping technique or eye movement technique that helps now the body process that negative experience and come out of it. And people find a lot of relief in this technique. In fact, governments are using this for their soldiers for post-war PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. Yeah, so it's one of the most effective trauma release techniques of them. With that, when somebody comes out of trauma, then their belief changes, right? Suddenly they're like, oh, wow, I'm not a bad person anymore. Or actually, that person is not near me anymore, so I'm actually a bit more safer. And I can smile again to my neighbor or to the person next to me, and I don't have to project onto my girlfriend or my boyfriend that they're mean to me. That meanness is actually coming from my sense of being unloved by my mother. And actually, my boyfriend really cares, or he's just busy with some work, and it's not my personal issue. So suddenly it's just like, wow, I see life differently. My perception changes because my trauma has been healed. Yeah. And when your perception changes after healing your trauma, you can smile more. You'll feel more confident. You'll be more engaging in life. You'll take more or better risks or better choices. Yeah. With that confidence, you get more abundance. You just become more full of life. Maybe you go on a nice adventure holidays, right? Because you're worth it. And nothing's holding you back anymore, because all these fears and thoughts that you think are your personality are not necessarily you. They're a result of negative belief systems that came about very naturally to protect yourself during a stressful time in your past.
So you help people change what they thought was their identity to figure out who they really are.
Yeah, that's part of it, right? Yeah, I've never looked at it that way, but yes, because a lot of people think that their fear or their low self-esteem is their personality, but it's not their identity. You have a beautiful soul inside of you. You have a very lovable personality. There's nothing wrong with you. All your, what we call creative adjustments, yeah, that's what they are. They're adjustments to a stressful situation where you couldn't cope in a different way. So you decide to withdraw. You think, okay, this person doesn't love me because my association, like my mom's undivided attention was my interpretation of love. And suddenly she looked away and she was busy with another person. I didn't get that undivided attention. Automatically, the child will go into self-blame and self-criticism. And that stays with the person their whole life. Yeah. And then they suffer. They suffer breakup pain, they suffer trauma, they suffer low self-esteem. All these things happen because of a minor or a major incident during their childhood or even teenage years. And this needs to be healed. And when it's healed, life changes, confidence returns.
So you're saying that one incident or a big incident could make someone have depression or anxiety, and it's not exactly as they say, where there's like, you know how they say there's a chemical imbalance in the brain, and what I'm hearing from you is it's a little different than that.
Completely different. So yes, there is chemical imbalances in the brain due to like inflammation and other things and chronic stress causing the cortisol imbalance. And at the same time, remember, mind and body are not different. Yeah. At the same time, because of trauma, because of beliefs, you create certain beliefs about yourself, your life, and all that. And antidepressants and supplements and all that can help temporarily, but they don't heal the causative factor. And when you heal the causative factor, you need less supplements, you need less medication, because now you're returning to your true spirit. And that's really what needs to be healed. Because, see, the brain has this ability we call neuroplasticity, the ability to rewire itself. And so after a negative experience, it rewires itself to protect you really from further disappointment, from trauma, from being chased by the lion again, quote unquote, yeah? And now that rewiring of the brain then, of course, alters the biochemistry in your brain and your entire body. It has to, yeah, because everything is synergistic in your system. And so now, because of the rewiring, your whole biology operates in a certain way. And so you actually manifest your beliefs all of a sudden physically as well.
Mm.
And now by love, by healing, by trauma release, by belief changes, by holding you in a safe place where you can come out of your shell, come out of your pain, come out of your compensated state and feel loved and received and accepted by the person in front of you, and then by therapy and then by certain social interactions, suddenly it's just like, gosh, I'm not such a bad person. I'm not so unlovable. I actually can say something and be heard and be respected. And it's safe to share how I feel without feeling shame anymore, because people respect shameful parts of me or what I thought was shameful, right? That's where you feel comfortable sharing your vulnerability. And then all of a sudden you feel more connected to people. Yeah, there's more love in your life. There's more, I would say, vulnerability, but it's a beautiful vulnerability. It's not a shameful or bad vulnerability. Yeah, it's really being connected. And life just flourishes in that way, right? You're smiling. I like it.
Yeah, that sounds so beautiful. And I'm thinking, gosh, that sounds so beautiful. And you're making it sound like it's so easy. So, I mean, is it that easy when people work with you, when people combine the mind and the body, that they can get results quicker than not combining them?
Well, I'm tempted to say yes, it is super easy. And we're going to try that with some of your listeners. What we'll do is let's do a 1 hour live healing session for everyone. I'll let you talk more about that and get them to experience some emotional shifting. I'll try my best, no promises, anyone. But yeah, people get a lot of faster results with my 5-step program because it combines healing their mind and their body and not ignoring any part of them. So yeah, I find there's a lot of faster results, faster healing that takes place when everything about a person is addressed. Their emotions, their vulnerability, their mineral intake, their physiology, their liver, inflammation, diet, all that needs to go together. Because food is, yes, chemical information, and it's also spiritual information. There's information in food. Yeah, nourishing foods make you feel better.
Okay, wait. Talk a little bit more about that. What food is spiritual information? Tell us a little bit more about that, doctor.
Well, I don't want to put this on anyone. As a psychotherapist, I cannot put my thoughts and beliefs on people. So I just want to say this is my learning from my peers and other people and other writings. Because people think of food as just food, but there's information in it, right? Carries energy. And so some people believe a more plant-based diet can be healthier because, I don't know, there's higher vibrations in certain foods. I'm not vegetarian though, so I'm saying these are beliefs of other people as well. What I know though is that when food is treated well, when you cook with love, or when you treat an animal better, and you eat food that's been treated well with less pesticides and grown with love, or even cooked with love, you feel different, right? And that's what I find, that food can be spiritual information as well for your body. It's not just calories. You see, people mistake food as just calories, and it's not. It's information. And that information, for example, tells your liver, okay, so bitter foods, for example, help your liver detox more, right? Certain foods build up your blood. Certain foods remove too much phlegm or stagnation from your body because of their energetic properties. And we need to combine foods in the right way to harmonize the energy in our body as well.
That's so interesting. So you heard it here first. Food has a spiritual energy as well as just being nurturing and food.
Yeah.
So one question that's coming up for me too, and I'm curious, is does it matter if you treat the body first and then the mind, or the mind and the body, or you do them all integrated?
I integrate. I cannot separate the two. In the middle of explaining leaky gut to a patient, I might notice their eyes move a certain way. I'm like, okay, what's that feeling coming up? And then I'll get information. What's that about your father? I'll get information suddenly like about their father or something else. Okay, what's going on? What's the upsetness about? Or where's the abandonment feeling? And I'll go straight into processing. Then I'll take a break from the biology lesson I'm giving them, right? About leaky gut and the liver. And then we'll process the emotions, and I'll say, okay, now let's go back. We've healed that part, because I deal with what comes up in the moment. That's super important, because the body is ready to share there and then. I don't ignore that message. And then after healing the person in that moment and bringing them to a still place or a calm place, then I feel like you're ready. So we continue talking about your liver, and I describe the herbs such as milk thistle or different homeopathics that are in the online course about which homeopathics heal your liver. And then I'll put a supplement protocol together for people to heal leaky gut, the liver, and if needed, also the adrenal glands. Yeah, because the adrenal glands help with metabolism, help with thyroid function, help with burning fat, weight loss, harmonizing the hormones. And healing the adrenal glands needs to come. I usually bring it after detoxifying the body, though. It's a certain protocol I use. It's like I don't like to add too much fire or adrenal herbs into the body if it's toxic, because then the body gets too hot. So I prefer the detox and remove inflammation, and then we build them up when they're ready. So everything happens together, and it's possible. And I think it's the best way, to be honest.
And the best way for people who can't come and see you personally is your online course.
Yeah, online course. And then I do Skype with people. I encourage people to take the online course first, though, because they do the groundwork of the healing. They fix their leaky gut, all their physiology. They work on a timeline journal and healing their past emotions as well. And so they get a lot more done with the online course, and then they're ready to see me. Yeah, of course, if they want to see me right away, then they're always welcome to do that.
Fascinating. And just the work that you do too. So I'll just share when we had our first phone call. I mean, you're in the moment, you know what's going on. I'm talking about something, you're like, oh, I don't remember the exact words you used, but you're like, oh, you have some triggers there. You said something. I'm like, oh, what? How could you tell that over the phone? So why I'm sharing this is this doctor, he is the real deal. And so I'm so excited to share this with you. But on the phone call, we decided that we wanted to do what do we call it? A healing transformational session for all of you that are watching. So I don't know what else I can say about it. Is just, he's just amazing. And you get to come and be in the doctor's gifts. I don't know if you have anything else to add with that.
Energetically, I just want to share, without compromising on your privacy, of course, there was vulnerability which I picked up during our first phone call together. And the language, how do I say, I picked up on a certain compensation in the words you were using that were not congruent with how your heart was feeling. And so when I picked up on that, I said, okay, this person needs a bit of support in their tender place. Yeah, because the mind is doing stuff based on society's beliefs and what she experienced and what we feel we ought to be doing based on, I don't know, the image another person has, or popularity of a certain person. We lose our own individuality, yeah? And so I picked up on that space. I wanted to protect you. Protect is a bit too intense, but I just wanted to help you out there, and I felt there was room for healing there. So yeah, if you're watching this, please join us on our healing session, because I want to share this technique with the world, because I find it so much more transformative than depending only on supplements and just forcing the belief to change without any deeper healing.
Yeah, and I can sense that about your just huge heart and your charity and everything. And I'm curious, just to end this, but I'm curious, how did you come across this? How did you decide to integrate naturopathic medicine and psychotherapy and be able to help people in this way?
As a naturopathic doctor, so I was studying in Toronto, and then I joined psychotherapy school as well. I didn't believe in healing emotions, to be honest. I was dreadlocks, Rasta guy, living in Africa, smoking cigarettes and being like, life is life. We don't want any of that psychology bullshit, right? Excuse my language, sorry. And then, I studied gestalt psychotherapy. Then I studied family constellations. I was like, oh my God, like belief systems are the seat of health, really, right? And since then, I always use that. I mean, as a kid, I was always touching pressure points on people. And then in California, where I was working as a computer engineer in my first life, or whatever you want to call it, I could actually remove headaches from my girlfriend without touching her. It was very strange. I could move energy. I could work with energy. So I knew I wanted to do holistic medicine. And then after suffering from anxiety and depression myself, going through breakups, boarding school, a lot of bullying, a lot of trauma by different teachers, etc., I went on my own healing journey, right? Like through naturopathic school, I realized, okay, certain food sensitivities are causing inflammation and giving me anxiety. Then through psychotherapy school, I faced myself, I faced my vulnerability, I faced all my traumas and the bad teachers who traumatized me, or I don't know, stuff with my mom, with my dad, with my ex-girlfriend, with my friends. And just looking at these belief systems and peeling away layers and layers of trauma and compensation and hurt, and really feeling vulnerable and giving myself out there, the healing began. And now I can't look back. I cannot ignore the emotional state of a person when they come in to see me. So that's how I got into this stuff.
Wow, that's just fascinating. And
It would be nice to take a break from it all because the mind is too aware. You just want to just chill out and be like unaware completely sometimes and go back to high school days or something like that.
oh, you have no idea. There's so many times where I say, I wish I wasn't as conscious and aware as I am. Life would be so much easier.
Yeah, right. Just have a beer and chill out.
I know. We can't go back.
It's done.
Well, I'm so thankful for this interview, from getting to see your gifts. I'm so thankful that you're willing to share your gifts with these viewers and do this crazy, awesome, cool healing session that I can't wait to do. And I'll give you guys the details once we figure it out. It'll be after this series ends. So, Doctor, how can people find you? And I know you have a gift for everyone too.
Okay, so yeah, I've released a couple of videos, 3 videos of my online course, just an intro. So you can go to my website, health.drameet.com. Please take the online course. It helps me earn income so that I can spend more time doing my community work. So I started mobile clinics for rural communities in northern Kenya. And I want to teach this method to different communities and continue my community work. So when you get the online course and promote my book and get lots of copies of my books for your friends, for charities, for organizations, I can do the work in other parts of the world and improve the state of medicine in rural communities. So it's health.drameet.com. The link will be there, drameet.com.
Awesome. So, last surprise question that I have is, what lights you up every single morning?
What lights me up every morning?
Mm-hmm.
The thought of adventure. I also still struggle with a bit of anxiety, depression sometimes. So it doesn't light me up every morning. I actually work on the sensations I'm feeling when I'm feeling anxious, depressed in the morning. I'll sit with it. I don't run away anymore from it. I actually embrace it and love it and say, okay, where are you coming from? Who are you? What is not healed? Is it a previous trauma? Is it? So I'm always working on myself. And that is part of, I think, what lights me up is an opportunity to heal myself, because there's so much more self-love that gets injected into my whole system when I spend time in that meditation, in that healing. Of course, my mobile clinics light me up, and the thought, like, now I have a naturopath from Switzerland visiting me, and we're going to go and do some documentation in the remote areas. So that gives me energy. And that's what I want to tell people, actually, is give back. Yeah, do community work, because it transforms your life. I had suicidal thoughts, and I won't even lie to you. I had suicidal thoughts multiple times. And I had actually put my mobile clinics on hold. And then this naturopath from Switzerland says, hey, come and run a meditation in Switzerland for a conference. We want to hold a fundraiser for your mobile clinics. Because I put on hold because of funding issues. And then I was like, gosh, suddenly there was a way of giving back or a purpose, yeah, bigger than myself. Yeah, it was a task at hand. Boom, mentality changed right away, right? I was so energized. So something meaningful can light somebody up, right? If you're in love, waking up next to the person next to you can light you up. If you have a mission in life, or you want to help poor people, or you have a good way of changing the world, invest in that. Talk about it, share it. Yeah. Don't worry about people stealing your idea. If somebody steals your idea, it might get out there faster. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm lit up by love and inspiration. I think feeling loved by friends and community and the profession. And people like you, like, honestly, wake up and knowing that you were going to interview me because you really believed in this method. I felt the support. I felt the connection from across the world. I mean, you're in America. I'm in Kenya. This connectivity also brought life to my morning. Mm-hmm. So thank you.
Wow. Thank you for sharing all of your gifts. You guys, he's the real deal. I mean, come on. You're doing it all. You're doing service. You are helping and transforming so many people. You're being honest and saying, hey, I don't feel great every single morning. And you do your own work on yourself. So, I mean, you're living it. So thank you for teaching us this.
Pleasure. I hope people will start feeling the gut, their liver, their adrenal system, and their mind. That's what I want you to get out of this. And don't give up on yourself, and don't think that you're stuck forever. And love your symptoms. They're a sign of what needs to be healed, where you need to go, how you need to love yourself better, how you need to forgive yourself maybe, yeah, or where you need to reach out a bit more, communicate with your father or your mother or your sibling, yeah. These are signs of what needs to be healed. So don't criticize yourself for feeling sick, please.
I love that so much. Thank you so much for being here and sharing your gifts with us.
Thank you so much. And we'll see you on the online course and in the live session, actually.
Yes, we'll see you there.
Yeah. It's going to be about an hour. We're going to take live calls and share whatever you feel comfortable sharing. And I'll try and spend about 5 to 10 minutes with you just to give you an experience of maybe holding you in a vulnerable space or helping you heal a bit. I cannot do a full session with everyone, of course, because maybe there's a lot of people waiting to have a chance. But just to show you what's possible, how you can let go of the belief system or negative feeling.
Wow, that's going to be amazing. You guys do not miss this. Stay tuned. I will give you all of the details once we figure it out. And I mean, this is so generous of you. So thank you for doing that.
A pleasure. Thank you.
Thanks for listening. Remember, you can go deeper in your healing with amazing remedies and therapies covered in your free online course and ebook on drameet.com. That's drameet.com. Lots of love and thank you. God bless.